Hey, it's Darik from Mix in the Morning with another edition of Darik's Good Deed, driven by Hyundai, your local area Hyundai dealers in Roseville, Sacramento, and Folsom Lake. Also by justserve.org. 4th of July is around the corner. A lot of you are going to be barbecuing in the backyard. But what about the heroes on the front line who are fighting fires every day and keeping you safe, not only from fires in your neighborhood, but also across the state of California? Fires are burning during wildfire season. Many firefighters in CAL FIRE are training right now, and our heroes are always going to be there for us on our front lines. So the least we can do is bring them some sandwiches to feed our guys here today at fire station number 24 in Rocklin. There's some sandwiches from Beach Hut. We're going to go in there and talk to them about fire safety and what's happening during wildfire season. Come on. So I'm here with Battalion Chief Rick Holmes at Fire Station 24 in Rocklin. First of all, guys, thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate your service to the community and just being brave heroes, because that's how we feel about you. Look, we know wildfire season is in full effect. We know there's a lot going on in the state of California with fire safety. 4th of July is around the corner. First and foremost, what are you guys doing to prepare for wildfire safety, fire safety in general, especially in the midst of all the COVID-19 regulations and restrictions?
Well, we're constantly training. Even if it's out of season, we're constantly training for wildland fires. But annually, we do something we call RT-130, which gets us back into the realm and mindset of wildland fires. So we do online or hands-on drills, doing progressive hose lays, cutting line, doing stuff like that. And then we also go back and look at some lessons learned from previous years regarding firefighter fatalities or injuries. We go over things that we call LACIS, which is basically lookouts, escape zones, and stuff like that, just to really boast up on our safety aspect of it, so that we're thinking about safety all the time.
Sure.
So we just finished that. We do that normally sometime end of May. And then there's always the big outreach. Right now in the city, we're dealing with our basically our open lands, making sure they're properly mowed, there's good defensible space. We talk to some residents that are in some of the urban interface areas about defensible space. Obviously the best place to get that information is from CAL FIRE on their website. They have a printout that talks about defensible space, talks about how much distance you should have, how far you should limb up your trees and stuff to give you the best positive results if there was a wildland fire in your area.
Sure.
That allows us the ability to protect your property to the best of our ability.
Has it been hard with the COVID restrictions? I mean, how have you guys been working around, like, as far as safety when you guys are in groups fighting fires or working together? Do you have to wear protective gear as well? I mean, has it caused any restrictions to be able to do your job?
I mean, I haven't been on any campaign fires as of yet. I mean, they're just starting. As you know, we've had a couple fires in the area that have started to get big. So I haven't seen how they're going to actually deal with the base camp scenario when we have thousands of firefighters.
It's all new stuff.
It is. It's a new world, and so I think we're learning as we go along. I think you're definitely going to see some areas where, when we're in base camp, social distancing, probably
Sure.
You're going to see masks and stuff. But as far as when we're on the firefight line, we're still having to do our job the only way we can, and that's to put the wet stuff on the red stuff, as they say, and do our job. So in that aspect, you're not seeing us have like facial masks and stuff that we would normally have on for a while.
Yeah. So what tips do you have to people who are celebrating 4th of July, doing cookouts? They're not supposed to be lighting fireworks, from what I understand. That's a big no-no right now. I mean, how do we avoid having to put the wet stuff on the red stuff? So we don't have to come to their house and take care of serious problems.
The big thing is safe and sane fireworks, right? So that's what the state has a stamp on fireworks that are sold in the booths that people do for. They do it for fundraising purposes, right?
Sure.
But the important thing about safe and sane fireworks is that you use them the way that they're meant to be used. Because you can use a safe and sane firework in a bad way, like throwing it in the air, doing sparklers in a field of high grass. That it takes the safe and sane part of the equation out, because now we've instituted human behavior.
Right.
So what we ask is that the human portion of it, they utilize these in a safe manner. Because we very seldomly have ever gone to a grass fire caused by safe and sane fireworks that were used properly. Normally, somebody's throwing them in the air, or they put them on a drone, or they're running around.
So common sense.
So common sense is a big key.
And believe it or not, common sense is often lacking, even though we have to remind people.
Yeah,
it happens.
I mean,
Human nature.
Yeah, at times, people are starting to enjoy it. It's a fun, festive time.
People are cooped up in their house.
Yeah.
They want to get out and enjoy and celebrate.
Exactly.
I totally understand that. For people like me, I like to use a barbecue grill. I like to light up the coals. I like to, smoke the steaks. And what advice do you have to people who have those pits like that may be kind of open or the flames are exposed?
So if you're just using a barbecue, most of the time they're pretty safe. Obviously, you wouldn't want to have it right up against your fence or right against your house. Have it in a safe area that's got a little bit of space around it.
Sure.
But the most important thing with coals is how you deal with them after the fact.
What should we do?
And what happens normally is they leave them in their Weber for a while. They think they're cold. They put their hand down. They don't feel heat, so they just scoop them up and throw them in the trash can.
Right.
And that's normally when we come to a residential structure fire, because those coals can maintain heat for a long period of time. So what you should actually do with those coals is you scoop them out of there and you put them in a metal container. So they make little metal trash cans, right? You should purchase one if you're a barbecuer, and it should be right by your barbecue. Scoop it in there, leave it there for a week.
Sure.
Let it cool down good before you dispose of it in any fashion.
So what if it was a small barbecue and it had like a little metal coffee can? Would that be okay to do?
If it's something that's non-combustible. So you're not gonna, what I do see sometimes is people think they're doing the right thing, so they'll throw it into a little plastic tub, or they throw it into one of their Amazon boxes they just got a new gift from, and they think that it's cool enough. But what happens is a little tiny breeze, just like today, kicks up, and it just reheats those embers that are way deep inside, and it just flames it, and it could take a day for that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it'll smolder for a long period of time, and then it just gets enough oxygen to ignite, and it's off to the races.
Fire is a fascinating thing, but it's also a terrifying thing. It's amazing power that it has behind it.
Yeah, it's a lot like cigarettes. People think that they can just dispose of a cigarette because they think it's out. Well, cigarettes have been known to smolder for days as well.
Had you guys seen during the pandemic, during the quarantine, a lot more people at home cooking food, baking bread? Had you seen an uptick in fires, or did it not change that much for you?
I don't think we saw a lot of uptick in fires because of that reason. I think actually there might have been a downturn, because what happens is people in their day-to-day busy lives, they'd start something, then they'd leave the house to go do something else, and then they'd leave the pot on the stove. And so we'd see a fire in the kitchen or what have you. But now, since people have been stuck at home, they're not leaving their home.
That makes sense.
So
they're not leaving fires unattended.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
I don't think we've seen a lot of uptick because of that particular situation.
Well, appreciate you, Chief.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Not a problem.
We honored all of our heroes during this the fight against the pandemic, and we will never forget about you. And I know you were there before it, through it, and you'll be there, through it all and beyond. So we appreciate you guys and the entire team here. Thanks again to our heroes here at Fire Station 24 in Rocklin. In fact, they're going out for a call right now as we speak. They are our heroes, and we support them through everything that we can possibly do on the air, and thank them for all of the service they give us in our community. We want to serve them. Make sure to go to justserve.org for what you can do in your community to help serve. Thanks again to Rocklin Fire for taking the time today, part of Darik's Good Deeds. Thanks again. It's driven by Hyundai, your local Hyundai dealerships here in Sacramento, and justserve.org. Another edition of Darik's Good Deeds, Mix 96.